look, this isn't working out. Okay. I mean, you know, look, it's not you. It's me. It's me. No. Okay. No. It's definitely you. It is you. Look, I have needs. All right. I never said that you and I were exclusive.
Kohler, glad to see you're trying to do something about your unhealthy relationship with that temptress.
Yeah, that's not the point, Baker, okay? Where have you been?
Where have I been? LA, yo. I'm an E3 judge this year. Demo event.
Oh, yeah, E3. Wasn't that last year?
It's probably going to be happening again this year. Fingers crossed.
Oh, well, good for them. So, who was the judging event for?
Let me tell you.
Okay, so you saw a bunch of games out there at the Sony Judges Day. So what's the first one we're going to talk about?
Okay, for starters, I'm going to tell you about Pixel Junk Eden,
okay,
which is out this summer. And this is by Kyoto-based Q Games.
Right.
You know them?
I've heard of Q Games. So this is a PlayStation Network downloadable game.
Absolutely.
Following, I mean, they had Pixel Junk Racing and they had Pixel Junk Monsters, and so now this is the third game in this series.
And what's interesting is Pixel Junk Racing was straightforward slot car racer. Pixel Junk Monsters, it was, you know, tower defense type of game. This is just unlike anything I've ever really played before.
Wow.
It's a lot more in keeping with the sort of really minimalist avant-garde games you see on PlayStation Network, like Flow, like Everyday Shooter, like Echo Chrome. It's more along those lines.
I mean, it looks kind of like Spore, the cell stage of Spore. Like it's a natural kind of like you're a little organism. Like what are you?
You're called a Grimp.
Okay.
They're called that because the only things they can really do are grip and jump. It's a portmanteau.
Nice.
The word.
Nice.
And it's a really beautiful sort of minimalist environment. It's supposed to be a garden. And you're jumping around it, getting from place to place, trying to burst pollen sacs and gather pollen and pollinate things.
And the two things that you can do are you can shoot the string and you can grab on to the flowers and spin around.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of jumping ability, but you can also shoot out a little web and loop around and then let go and let your inertia carry you, your momentum carry you. It's a game about, you know, little jumps and little arcs, and you reach these things called spectra at the end of a level. So it's incredibly simple gameplay, but it's just very organic. You know, as it's going along and you're pollinating plants, you know, new things are growing that you can climb on top of, and there's just a beautiful musical score playing. They went to just a hip DJ in Kyoto and got an hour and a half of music to go with it.
All right, this next game, I mean, when I heard about it, it's Buzz. It's their trivia game for the PlayStation 3. And honestly, I mean, I heard about this and I'm like, okay, how many, you know, copy editions of Buzz have they already brought out? You know, is this really bringing something new to the table, or is it just on PS3 now? But you said that it actually has some interesting new innovations.
Yeah, you know, Buzz, it's basically an interactive game show. It's a game show, it's a quiz game. It comes with a controller, which has a huge red button that you bang, you know, like a controller in Jeopardy. You have the answer, you bang the button.
Right.
This one comes with 4 wireless controllers, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's hard. It's a simple, straightforward, you know, kind of parlor game, casual game, answering trivia questions. Buzzing in, whoever buzzes first answers the multiple choice questions. You've got a host who looks suspiciously like a Muppet.
But again,
is all well and good.
Yeah,
you know,
not much difference from the PlayStation 2 version. This applies to all of those other games. But the difference is?
The difference is it's got online, something they're calling Sofa versus Sofa Online.
Okay.
And what that basically means is everyone in one location is on the same team, almost as if you're doing a pub quiz show.
Like you're doing Family Feud or something like that.
And still, you know, up to this point, I was like, meh, you know, it's a fun game, not my type of game, you know. If you like this sort of game, it's a lot better than Seen It on Xbox 360. What really sets it apart, though, is it lets players make their own list of trivia questions, post them online, and other players can review them and score them and rate them and, you know, flag them if they have offensive content.
Oh, okay.
But what it means is the 5,000 questions that come with the game are supplemented by an unlimited number of questions about any topic the fans come up with. And I played a special gamer trivia section that I just got utterly pwned. Some really obscure bit of knowledge about Zelda 2 that I knew nothing about. And that's what excites me about it, is the user-generated content. And that brings us to the third game, Little Big Planet.
Yeah, I mean, Little Big Planet, obviously the centerpiece of Sony's user-generated content strategy going forward. Yeah. I mean, I played this at E3 last year. It's amazing, but what they were showing off this time around at the Judges' Day were a whole bunch of brand new features that we haven't checked out yet, right?
Absolutely. And for those who don't know, Little Big Planet, it's a very pretty, very well-designed, two-dimensional side-scroller, sort of in the vein of Mario, with just adorable little characters that you can customize their appearance, customize their facial expressions, and guide them through this two-dimensional level.
Yeah.
But what really sets it apart is that the controls you're using to move through the level are also the controls you use to design your own levels.
Right.
And it's this very, very flexible, very, very intuitive tool.
And you design levels on the fly, basically, in this game.
Absolutely.
Like, designing is the same as playing. You can immediately start testing them out. But what they've added for the version that you actually saw they're going to have at E3 are all kinds of other things, right? Like things that can hurt the player.
Yeah, there are environmental effects, a fire and an ice level. And we got to see a lot more about the content creation. Of course, the guys at Media Molecule who made it are so good that they can, not just create objects, but sort of attach behaviors to them in real time. And it's not like modding an Unreal level. You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to know about 3D modeling. It really is as easy as playing the game, and it is as much fun. And we also got to see a lot more of the interface, what you will see when you log into the game. And you have the option, again, of playing the core games that come with it, the core levels, which were very fun. But then you have this limitless potential of levels created by other players, which you can download and rate if you like it or not, rate what other sort of person might like it. It's almost as much like YouTube as it's like a game. And of course, they're dangling the promise of getting a lot of these great superstar designers they have at Sony. Like imagine playing Dave Jaffe's Little Big Planet level.
Right. Imagine playing, a lot of designers' Little Big Planet levels, because all they have to do is buy a copy of the game and they can make whatever they want and upload it.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, summing up what you saw, and you saw a few other games as well, but I mean, kind of summing up everything that you saw. Sony, obviously, this point last year, in a lot of trouble. This point this year, I mean, the general consensus seems to be that they're kind of getting their act together and they're at least going to have a good lineup of games this year. Is this your feeling?
Yeah, it's too soon to say if MotorStorm's going to come together. The new environment looks great. People who thought the old one was dull will like the new one. They were showing two shooters. They were showing the new Killzone and the new Resistance. They both look promising. So much of that comes down to the polish that happens at the last minute. And then, a lot of sort of interesting, quirky things like this that really have the potential to bloom once players get their hands on it and start making their own content. Nothing that's going to be a knockout punch like Metal Gear Solid 4, but a lot of games that will make people really glad they have a PS3.
I am jealous. I wish I was an E3 judge.
Someday. Well, no, probably not.
No, not at all. Man, Little Big Planet. I gotta get me some of that. See, maybe if you'd played Little Big Planet, we wouldn't have to be having this conversation.